Welcome guys. I want to make a short series of videos just showing different ways of controlling your ships. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a brief video just going through each different way of controlling your ships, and then I'm going to do one video on each different way, demonstrating how it actually works and using it in a battle situation, going through what its pros and cons are, and when you would choose to use it over a different type of formation. So there are different times that you would want to use each one of these formations. You're not always going to want to use the same method every single time, so it's good to know all the different ways of being able to control your ships. So before I carry on, I just want to explain a bug in the game, which I think I know what the cause is, but I'm not 100% sure. But when I've done this, it's always caused a bug. When I haven't done it, I haven't had the bug. So I assume that it's not by chance and that this is the cause of the bug. So basically, if you combine all of these battle groups together to make one big battle group, some of your ships are not going to go their top speed. Now I don't understand what causes this bug, but basically, if your ship says 38, you're only going to go 2/3 of that speed, so you're only going to go 26. Now it'll say 38 still here, but if you open up your ship details, it'll say 26, and they'll be stuck at that speed for the entire game. Even if you take them out of the formation, even if you take them out of the battle group, so they're just an individual ship, even if they're not got any orders following or being followed by or anything, they're just a complete solo ship, they haven't taken any damage, they've got 100% fuel efficiency, so there is absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be going full speed, and unfortunately they get stuck at 2/3. Now, to make it even worse, if you reduce the speed by 1 knot, they now go 1 knot slower than 26. So at 38 they'll be going 26, at 37 they'll be going 25, 36 they'll be going 24. So by the time you get to 13, they'll be going 0, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you get damaged to the point where you're only going 13, you're actually completely stood still, and you're stuck at that speed. You're not moving, even though it says you should be moving. You're not moving. So basically, yeah, that's the bug, and that is the reason why you can't combine these at the start of a battle. So having a single battle line is not an option if you want to avoid this bug. So I just wanted to explain that quickly before I go on to the different ways of controlling your ships, because obviously that's the simple way that I'd imagine the majority of people use. And so people will probably be wondering, well, why haven't you mentioned this formation? This is the obvious one. Well, that's the reason I haven't mentioned this formation, because of the game breaking bug. Basically, it really does break the game. Having one ship, or even a group of ships, because it usually happens to more than one, it usually happens to all of the ships in one of the battle groups. So you'll get like a quarter of your army or navy not moving anywhere near as fast as anybody else, which can then cause carnage in your line, because if this group is the one who's going slow, they're joining onto this one and they're joining onto these, they slow up the entire line, so you end up with a gigantic gap in your line. And even if you break them off, these are now practically useless because they can't catch up to the engagement. So yeah, that's enough of the bug anyway. I'll move back onto the formations now. So the most effective way, in my opinion, is to take them all out of their formation. So they're all individual, just one ship, one, and then select them all to follow each other. So he would be the lead ship, then you'd select him and follow, then him and follow, and then another one and follow that, and then another one and follow that one. So it takes a bit of time to set up at the beginning of the game, but that's the most effective way of controlling your ships, because you can easily select one ship at a time. You can easily avoid torpedoes with one ship. So usually, if in a battle line, you'd only be able to control the front ship. With torpedoes are coming over here, you want to control this ship and move him out of the way. So now you can in this follow line. You can also use the rudder on each individual ship, which you can't do in a battle line. If you tried to do that in a battle line, the rudder, even if you've got this guy clicked, the rudder would affect him. So you can end up cocking up your entire battle line by trying to avoid a torpedo, basically. So yeah, don't do that. Don't use battle lines. Okay, the next one is if you wanted to use some form of battle line. So at the start of the game, this is what you would be looking at. You'd want this to be your lead ship, so you can select this battle group and tell him to follow there, this battle group and tell him to follow there, and this battle group and tell him to follow there. So this is virtually the same as a normal battle line, only not completely the same, because if this guy falls back, if this guy takes damage and falls back, he's only going to fall back to there. He's not going to fall back to the back of the line. So it can cause problems, but you don't get the speed bug of combining them all. So that's why this is an alternative option, but it's not necessarily an ideal option. So a third way of using your ships, this is, in my opinion, one of the better ways of using a huge navy, because it can get hard to control a huge navy. So you want to split them all up into ones. Now whatever you do, don't put them all together before you split them up, because that will then cause the speed bug again. So you want to separate them out, but do it individually by battle group. That will avoid the bug. Now you want this guy to be your lead ship, so what you do is you select your whole army, you deselect the one you want to be the lead ship, and then you tell everyone to screen that ship. So now you're going to control this one ship, everyone else is going to follow you. Now they're not going to follow in a line, they're going to follow in like a circle. Sometimes the circle will fall behind, sometimes it'll try and get in front, sometimes to the side. So you've not got much control, or any control really, over what your ships are doing, but you can like herd them in a direction just by controlling one ship. So the good thing with this is you don't need to get them all in a nice orderly line at the start of a battle. So the start of a battle when you've got a huge navy can be chaotic, and you end up with a huge clump of them trying to fight the collision avoidance system. And then 4 of your ships will sail away into the distance, and 15 of your ships will be stuck in a clump trying to sort themselves out, and one will break free every now and then. Well, with the screen system, you won't have that problem at all. The entire group will move forward with the one that you're controlling. The fourth different system is the control click system. So if you have multiple ships selected and you hold control, if you click right click it will tell each ship to go that place individually. If you right click without it, it'll set them in a follow line. If you right click with it, with the control, then it'll tell them to go individually. Now, this can cause chaos as they all clump up together. Makes you a prime target for getting destroyed, but it's a quick way of moving all your ships into one direction. So say for example, you're in a normal battle line, this is the front guy, and some torpedoes are coming in this direction. Well, you might want to move your entire battle line to the side. Well, you can easily do that just by control clicking. So any torpedo that's like coming, say this direction, you don't want these to sail into it. So you just select them all, control right click, move them all out of the way. You then have to select them all and follow again to get them all back in an orderly follow line. But it's a quick way of being able to avoid torpedoes. And then the fifth different way of controlling your ships is the abreast line. Now the abreast line does require them all to be in one group, so I don't recommend using this because of the speed bug. But if you did want to use it anyway and you don't care about some of your ships being slow, then you can set them all into an abreast line and they will attempt, I say attempt because it doesn't work, but they will attempt to organise themselves into a line. So as you can see here, they're not in a line facing forward. So if you tell them to go forward in a abreast line, you'll watch and see what they do, and it won't work. It won't work properly at all. So you want them to be in a abreast line, and it just becomes carnage as they're trying to fight around each other. So they'll eventually form some form of abreast line, but it won't be what you want. It won't be all in a line. So as you can see here, if we pause it, that's where your lead ship is. Look how far back the rest of your ships are. So it is not an effective way of getting your ships all in one place at the same time. There are multiple other problems with this, but I'll go into it when I do each formation individually. So that was the overview. This is the first video, just the overview. So you've got the 5 different types of formations: a follow line, a cross between a battle line and a follow line, a screen, a control click, and an abreast line. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing each one of them in action, then carry on to the next video, and hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate each one of them successfully. Alright, cheers for watching guys, see you in the next one.